You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute you're up 500,000 in soybeans and the next, boom.
Do not attempt to adjust your device.
The revolution starts now.
We have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Turn those machines back on!
You are about to enter the halls of justice.
Show me the money!
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
This is the halls of justice. He is your host, Justus.
And welcome on into the big show. I'm your host, Justus. So, it's been a while since we did the podcast, the Halls of Justice. So today we're going to keep it fairly short. Just getting our feet back in the water, getting our feet wet, I guess we should say. But the thing I really wanted to speak on today is all this mask wearing stuff. So, you know, the COVID is out there, obviously. The China flu, the China plague, whatever you want to call it. So my question is, do the masks work? Do wearing the masks actually work? Remember way back in April when they said, "Oh, just wear it for 30 days. 30 days and it'll go away." Well, 30 days came and went and there was nothing, right? So then they shut the economy down and it's still here. We open back up. It's still here. And then we discovered that, hey, it's okay to go out and protest and break stuff and loot and destroy and gather in large numbers as long as you say you're protesting and not wear a mask. But it's not okay to go to church, to sing, to go to restaurants if you're wearing a mask. Go figure, right? So I started to do a little poking around online and just to see all the different stories of people who are advocating to wear masks but yet don't do it themselves. So I come across some articles on Ground Zero, and they point out a few of them. And so the state of California, they recently released mandatory guidelines for private gatherings to help stop the spread of the COVID. So over the holidays, we found photos showing their governor, Gavin Newsom, breaking his own rules. He had mandated some strict guidelines on how many people can gather at your holiday dinner, and also that you should wear your mask between each bite of food you eat. But yet, Newsom and his friends themselves were not following this suggestion. The photo shows that nobody was wearing masks, actually, and the group was about 12 people, which clearly exceeded the 3 household limit on private gatherings that they had established. And there were reports that the group was actually so loud that the restaurant staff had to shut the sliding glass door to their private area. So he's just one of the most recent high-profile Democrats to be documented breaking the very coronavirus safety regulations that they preach on, and they preach them to us. So we also, just in recent memory, we also had Speaker Pelosi. She was caught getting her hair done without a mask, but remember, that was a setup, right? It was a setup. Nobody else was allowed to go to beauty salons or barbers at that time, but she could go and not wear a mask. And then you have Senator Dianne Feinstein. She was photographed walking through an airport without wearing a mask. So it's do as I say and not as I do, I guess. Then you have Governor Murphy of New Jersey. He was having a huge family gathering at a restaurant, and none of his gatherings were wearing masks. And they weren't even social distancing. So you can't get away saying, well, we didn't wear masks, but we were more than 6 feet apart. And then you have Governor Kate Brown, who is always self-congratulating herself about how she's been handling the virus. She's encouraged Oregon residents to call the cops if they see coronavirus violations. Yep, that's right. She said, call the cops if you see coronavirus violations. She says it's no different than what happens when there's a party down the street and it keeps everybody awake. What do the neighbors do in this case? She says they call law enforcement because it's too noisy. And just like that, she wants you to call the cops. So, okay. Well, she ordered a 2-week freeze that includes limiting indoor and outdoor gatherings to no more than 6 people and no more than 2 households in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. So it started with a 2-week freeze. Then in Portland, she ordered a 4-week freeze, a month, right? And back in early June, she announced that all people of Oregon is going to be required to wear face coverings in indoor public spaces. Then in mid-July, she extended that order. It says, okay, now you have to wear them in outdoor public spaces. But yet, she was later caught walking on a hiking trail, and guess what? Without a mask. That's right, without a mask. And, of course, she has to have a security detail, and, you know, they weren't wearing masks either. So I don't know. What is the answer here? Masks? No masks? You know, there's obviously an at-risk population that's going to be affected more than others. It took me until this month to actually know somebody that caught the virus, and they were fine. I'm not saying everybody's fine. As I just said, there's obviously an at-risk population that can't catch this. It would be almost a death sentence for some people. You can't catch this. But the question is, does everybody get punished when there's a small percentage that should be doing this on their own? If you have a pre-existing condition that makes you in the at-risk population, you shouldn't be going to stores. You shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff. You should be staying home and waiting this out. So I don't have an answer. You know, I went to the doctor for a checkup not too long ago, and I'm wearing a mask, and my doctor's wearing a mask, and finally I just said, I go, look, I'm not a big believer in the masks. I don't know if it helps or not. What is your opinion? You're the doctor. You tell me. And you know what she told me? She thinks it she says she thinks it helps some. Okay, I get that. I can agree with that. It probably does help some. If you're spitting when you talk or something like that. So I don't know. I think that this coronavirus, if you hear the latest buzzword, it's the Great Reset, right? That's the big buzzword, right? Common economic statements made from globalists like Klaus Schwab over at the World Economic Forum. Also the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau. They're saying that the coronavirus pandemic is the perfect opportunity to trigger the Great Reset. They want to change everything. They want to control everything. In other words, when people panic in the face of crisis, they become easy to manipulate. And if a crisis doesn't happen naturally, then what do? Why not create a crisis, right? And then use that to cause panic. So, well, now the globalists, they have their crisis, and we, the population, the sheep, we've all been trained to do what we're told to do. And if you sound the alarm, if you speak up, if you protest against it, guess what? You're the heretic. Yeah, that's you. You're the bad guy. There are others. They're all out there. They're safely sheltered in place. They don't want to get involved. But there are a few that are peering over the fence. They're looking over. Or maybe they're looking in your windows to see if you are compliant. So this is the new America, I guess. Is this what you want? Are you willing to accept it? I don't know. I'm not. I got to tell you that I'm not. Again, I'm not a fan of the masks. I wear them. Why do I wear them? I guess I wear them because I'm told to wear them. Maybe that is just the ounce of prevention, I guess. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? You can email the show at Halls of Justus. That's JUSTUS. Halls of Justus at roadrunner.com. We'll talk about it next week. We'll go through the emails. That's the best way to get in touch with us right now. We're going to be opening up the texting lines. We're going to get the phone lines reestablished. And I hope to do about an hour show once a week. We'll talk about different things. Maybe we can have some guest hosts on here. Maybe I could find a permanent co-host. We'll do some interviews again. So it's the Halls of Justus. We'll talk about anything. Man, I'm a big fan of conspiracy theories. I'm a big fan of the paranormal. I dabbled slightly in politics, not enough to say I'm an expert. That's why we'll get some other people on here. So there you go. It is the Halls of Justus. I'm your host. Again, if you would like to email us, if you have a show idea, if you would like to be on the show, or you have just a general question, just pop us an email, hallsofjustus at roadrunner.com. The only other thing we ask for you to do is if you can go ahead and share our podcast on your social media sites, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is, start getting the word out that we're back. And if you want to do a search, I believe on YouTube, if you search up Halls of Justus, you'll see that there's a small library of shows that we had done in the past. And you can take a listen to those at your leisure. All righty, folks. So once again, thanks for tuning in today. I'm sorry we took up about 15 minutes of your time. Actually, I'm not sorry we took it up. It was kind of fun to do this again. So next week we'll be off. There will be no show next week, most likely. Maybe there'll be a surprise. We'll see. But for certain, we'll be back the following week of the 20th. So we just have to figure out a good day for the podcast to drop. Should it be Wednesday? Should it be Thursday, Friday? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Email us. hallsofjustus at roadrunner.com.
Would you like to be a sponsor or advertise on the Halls of Justus? Email us today at hallsofjustus at roadrunner.com. That's Halls of Justus, spelled JUSTUS, at roadrunner.com. If you have a show idea or would like to be a guest, you can email us as well at hallsofjustus at roadrunner.com.